Hello, friends, welcome back to Sin Review. Today, we are diving into one of the most anticipated upcoming web series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, this prequel is going to take you on a brand new journey through Westeros, but with a fresh perspective. Get ready for an adventure filled with honor, duels, and unexpected twists as we explore what makes this series stand out. Stay tuned as we break it all down. Here is an extended version of your YouTube review, adding more depth, speculation, and discussion points for the audience. Alright, let's talk about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the latest Game of Thrones prequel. If you thought House of the Dragon was a return to form for the Game of Thrones universe, this one is taking a completely different approach. Unlike the grand scale wars and power struggles we've seen before, this series is a more intimate, character driven story set in the same brutal and complex world of Westeros. This show is based on George R.R. Martin's Duncan novellas, which are fan favorites in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. The story follows Ser Duncan the Tall, better known as Dunk, a humble hedge knight with a strong moral code, and his squire Egg, who, unbeknownst to many, is actually Aegon V Targaryen, the future king of Westeros. But at this point in his life, Egg is just a clever, sharp-tongued kid hiding his royal identity, tagging along with a knight who is far from a polished nobleman. What's new in this series is its perspective. While Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon showed us the lives of kings, queens, and political masterminds, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms gives us a view of Westeros from the ground level. Dunk and Egg are constantly on the move, interacting with common folk, small lords, and other knights. This makes the world feel lived in and real, something that was always a strength of Game of Thrones, but this time we get an even closer look at the struggles of those who aren't born into power. One of the biggest changes we're getting with this series is tone. This isn't about grand betrayals, conspiracies, or dragons ruling the skies, at least not yet. Instead, it's a story of adventure, knighthood, and honor. Dunk is an unusual protagonist for Westeros. He's not ruthless or cunning like the characters we're used to seeing. He's a generally good man who wants to do the right thing. But as fans of Game of Thrones know, being honorable in this world doesn't always end well. So the tension in the story comes from watching him navigate a society that often rewards deception over integrity. Another exciting element is the exploration of Westerosi tournaments, duels, and knightly traditions. We're going to see a lot more of the chivalric culture that shaped the Seven Kingdoms before the events of Game of Thrones. Expect to see thrilling one-on-one combat, political intrigue at a smaller but still deadly scale, and plenty of moral dilemma. There's also the bigger picture to consider. Egg may just be a squire now, but we know he's destined to become King Aegon V. His reign is important because he's one of the last Targaryens to rule before the events leading to Robert's rebellion. His policies, his struggles, and his relationship with Dunk all play into the history of the realm. So even though this is a more personal story, it still holds weight in the larger Game of Thrones timeline. One thing that remains to be seen is how HBO adapts this. The Duncan novellas are relatively short compared to A Song of Ice and Fire, which means the showrunners will likely expand the story with new characters and subplots. The question is, will they stay true to George R.R. Martin's vision, or will they take creative liberties like we saw in later seasons of Game of Thrones? Visually, we can expect stunning medieval landscapes, richly detailed costumes, and immersive set design. Since this is a time before the massive political shifts of Game of Thrones, we might also see a more vibrant, structured Westeros, one where knighthood still holds an air of nobility before everything starts falling apart. For longtime fans of the franchise, this is a fresh but familiar take on the world of Westeros. It has the potential to be a gripping, character-driven journey, focusing on themes of loyalty, morality, and the burdens of leadership. And for newcomers, it offers a great entry point without the overwhelming complexity of Game of Thrones, massive cast, and politics. So, what do you think? Are you excited to see Dunk and Egg brought to life? Do you think this will match the intensity of House of the Dragon or offer something completely new? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Westeros and beyond.